I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay, I'd like to welcome everyone to the South River Board of Education regular meeting of Thursday, March 24th, 2022. And in compliance with the Open Public Meeting Act, Chapter 231, Laws of 1975 of the State of New Jersey, adequate notice of this meeting of the South River Board of Education was provided in the following manner. On March 2nd, 2022, the notice was delivered to the office of the South River Borough Clerk and posted at the Board of Education Administration Building. On March 2nd, 2022, the notice was faxed mailed to the following newspapers: Home News Tribune, Sentinel. On March 2nd, 2022, the notice was posted at the South River Borough Clerk's office. Mr. Kokoska, would you please call the roll?
Mr. Basak? Here. Mr. Brunson?
Here.
Mr. Bush?
Here.
Mrs. Byrne?
Ms. Byrne has been excused.
Mrs. Lowe?
Here.
Mr. Nielsen?
Here.
Mr. Dowski?
Here.
Mr. Young?
Here.
Mr. Vanek?
Here.
Ms. Passion?
Here.
Thank you. We have a quorum. Mr. Kokoska, the first item under board business are the minutes.
There are no changes since Monday's meeting, or additions.
Thank you. Do any board members have any questions or changes or edits? No? Could we have a motion?
Nielsen.
Motion for the minutes to be moved is by Mr. Nielsen. Is there a second?
Well.
Ms. Well? All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Thank you. Mr. Kokoska, use of facilities, please.
We have several items: South River Parks and Recreation, South River Police Department, South River Wrestling, South River Primary School PTA, and ETS.
Thank you. Do the board members have any questions or comments on these use of facilities? Seeing none, is there a motion for this?
Nielsen, move the use of facilities in accordance with board policies.
Motion by Mr. Nielsen.
Second.
Second by Ms. Sadowski. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. The motion carries. Our next item on the agenda is our financial report. Ms. Well, please.
Thank you. Be it resolved that the Board of Education hereby certifies that it is in receipt of the financial report which indicates that no major account has been overexpended and that sufficient funds are available to meet the district's financial obligations for the remainder of the fiscal year. The Finance Committee recommends that the reports of the Board Secretary and the Treasurer of School Monies for January 2022 be approved, and I so move.
Thank you. Motion by Ms. Well.
Second.
Second by Mr. Nielsen. Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Motion carries. This time we're going to turn the meeting over to our very capable superintendent, Superintendent Zurcher.
Yes, thank you, Mrs. Romanek. I have several items to review today. I want to begin speaking about the budget process. It is that time of year for us, and the administration, our teachers, we've been spending a lot of time really making some decisions about how to best serve the needs of our students, our facilities, and our district overall. So this month the board will be approving a preliminary budget that will be submitted to the county for approval. This budget is really highly focused on addressing student needs, especially as we recover from a lot of the learning loss that occurred due to the pandemic. Some of the resources and services included in the budget are additional staffing, curriculum programs in social studies from K all the way to 12, upgrades to classroom technology, and additional mental health supports. This funding does provide a great opportunity to enhance our school district, but of course we continue to face some challenges as we move to next year. The first and forthcoming is staffing, and some of the difficulties that we have had filling vacancies, filling positions. So you will see several items that speak to that on tonight's agenda, and also one of our district goals, which I will update the board and the community on, which is actually focused on human resources and recruitment. Unused snow days, I'm almost afraid to say it out loud. But as we plan for the spring season, and I will be announcing this in tomorrow's ERAM as well, it is time to consider the allocation of unused snow days. So if no other snow or emergency occurs prior to the Memorial Day weekend, then the district will be allocating the days as follows. It is different per building due to the primary school having an additional emergency day this year. So for the elementary, middle, and high school, schools will be closed on Friday, May 27th and Tuesday, May 31st. For the primary school, school will be open with an early release schedule on Friday, May 27th. That is the makeup day for our emergency day used on January 21st. But schools will be closed on Tuesday, May 31st. Again, this is all going to be posted on our website, it will be on our social media page, and it will be in tomorrow's ERAM so that you can take note of those dates. But again, those dates are in place if we continue to have no need for emergency days prior to Memorial Day weekend. Curriculum fair, we haven't had it in 2 years due to the pandemic, but we're excited to bring back the curriculum fair. We are looking at a date for Thursday, May 26th for our curriculum fair, so please be on the lookout for details coming up. And again, like I said, we are excited to be bringing this back to our community. It's a huge day for us to showcase everything that goes on in the district, our students' work, our teachers' work. Great day to come out and see what we're all about. Summer programs, we're already planning our summer offerings. We are looking to mirror a lot of what we did last summer, which includes the enrichment programs that were open to all at several levels, and the credit recovery programs for the high school, and also we are looking to do the academic support camp, to which we partnered with Right at School last year, so the children experience a portion of the day doing summer camp activities, and then another portion of the day receiving academic support. So right now, our principals and curriculum administrators are in the process of really looking at our student data, determining which students will qualify for that program, and then they will send personalized invitations for that. Again, the enrichment programs, however, those are open to all of our students, and they are at no cost to our families. So we're really excited about those. And I do want to take this opportunity to review, as it is the middle of the school year, to review both our progress towards our district goals, as well as progress towards the board goals. And when it comes to district goals, our first goal is related to community relations. How we put information out to the community, how we make sure that the community continues to stay informed. So in that regard, we continue, of course, to use our ERAMs, our Connect Ed. Our Connect Ed percentage is still really high in participation at over 95%, which means that 95% of our families are receiving those text messages or emails or phone calls that we send out on a regular basis. Parent-teacher conferences this year had a bit of a change so that we could engage more of our families. We did more of a hybrid model where you could select to come in person if you were available to do so, or you could do a virtual conference. And we used our parent portal at the primary and elementary levels for the first time so that parents could really make that selection and that choice. So other than just a few hiccups on the first day we released it, we really felt that that was an easy to use way for parents to be able to let us know how they prefer conferences and how to schedule them. We do have some activities coming up. Please look at our ERAM, especially for our bilingual parent advisory group. We have some family support programs coming up as well. Please be on the lookout for those. And then our social media pages continue to have a lot of following, which is great. We get a lot of pictures, descriptions of activities, things that are happening in the schools out there through our social media. Goal 2 is really related to instructional learning and just really focused on assessing where our student needs are. And we just finished administration of our strong data in the fall. We're using that data to really be able to determine where the needs of our students are. Back to that conversation we had about human resources, we're struggling sometimes to have the staffing in place to be able to do a lot of our supplemental programs. And so therefore, those two things go hand in hand. We want to be able to have the people on hand, on site, to be able to provide all of the supplemental programs and support that we believe our children need. Goal number 3 is related to physical, social, and emotional health. This is where some of the planning for our summer programs is coming from and our enrichment programs. We've also expanded our ESS services. They provide our students with mental health services right on site in our schools. And it's great to partner with them. And really in social emotional support, our teachers have really, especially at the lower levels, have really taken just a very active role in participating and leading morning meetings, being able to see their classrooms as a community, and have done a great job in that way. And finally, like I said, in human resources, you have an item on your agenda for approval tonight that speaks directly to our paraprofessional salaries and our substitute salaries, looking to make an increase there on board approval, looking to be able to make some headway in getting some people on board and into our district working with our kids. Our assistant superintendent today is at a career recruitment fair, and he was at one at Monmouth University, he's at one at Kean University. So we're getting out there, trying to recruit graduates, trying to recruit people who are interested in careers in education. And then when it comes to our board goals, the board made a commitment to really also be part of that community outreach. And as we have more in-person activities, I know that the board will have more opportunities to be in front of our community and directly engaging in our community, with our community as well. The board also had developed a goal related to professional development, and there are several activities that our board members did participate. One of the ones that they participated in that was really a commitment from some of our board members sitting here today, Mrs. Bush, Mr. Budson, is your participation in the disproportionality committee meetings and the professional development that you've received from Monmouth University in that regard. Really learning a lot about equity, opportunity, and just really how you as board members can be part of that process. We also have new board members that have participated in the superintendent evaluation workshops, as well as the onboarding required workshops that are required as well. And I think that concludes my mid-year update on our board goals, our district goals, and overall what's happening in the district. Thank you.
Thank you, very comprehensive. Are there any questions on the superintendent's report? The only question I have is, with the curriculum fair, is that going to be also offered in the evening? Is it going to be like an all day, throughout the day, and then into the evening hours?
It is.
We don't really know yet?
It's an evening event. It is scheduled between 5 and 7.
Oh, okay.
It is an evening event, and we will have the curriculum fair activities taking place here in the high school, including performances in our auditorium, and then we will also have our district art show that night, and that will be taking place over at the middle school cafeteria.
Oh, great. So a lot of exposure to a lot of different elements. Okay, thank you. Can we have a motion on the superintendent's report?
Nielsen, move the superintendent's report as read.
And is there a second?
Basak?
Second by, motion by Mr. Nielsen, second by Mr. Basak. Would you please pull the roll? Oh, sorry. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Passes. At this time, the board is going to open up the meeting for the reception of visitors. And at this time, the public may address agenda items only. There will be another public session at the end of the meeting for the public to address any matters that they may feel that they need to bring before the board. So if anybody in the public has any agenda items they'd like to discuss at this time, please come to the mic, state your name and address, and know that your comments will be kept to a 10-minute time limit. Anyone from the public on agenda items? Yes.
Hello, my name is Jennifer Gonda. My address is 209 Union Street, Rare, New Jersey, 08869. I'm here I wanted to listen about the discussion for the lactation support that will be affecting our students and our staff. So I was wondering if I could get some key points for that policy that
Yes, you can. That falls under our Policy and Legislation Committee, but I'm going to ask our superintendent and our board attorney to speak to those two items, if you can. Sure.
Those policies focus on student and staff needs. They implement federal law that require us to provide, as a public agency, opportunities for lactating mothers to have privacy and opportunity and scheduling during the workday or the school day to breastfeed or to express. Again, it is federal law initiatives that are being implemented here in South River as in every other school district in New Jersey.
Right, and more specifically, what this actually speaks to is working with building administration to coordinate those breaks as needed from a staffing perspective. From a student perspective, it's the same thing. Our students would be working with a district representative to really coordinate what the needs are and scheduling breaks, scheduling and choosing a location, etc.
So my question is, you're saying that it's based on the federal law. So I just want to make sure that this is on an as-needed basis, based on the mother's need, not based on the district's need and scheduling of the teacher's schedule.
So what it reads, I can tell you exactly how this policy reads. Okay? And it says, the employee shall be allowed to breastfeed or express milk during work hours using their normal breaks and meal times. For time that may be needed beyond the usual break times, employees may use personal leave or may make up the time as negotiated with their supervisors. That's the language.
So the language is very open to interpretation with the made up for basically the supervisors. So how are we making sure that this is being implemented fairly across the board?
So what this means is that if you need to use, or if an individual needs to use time beyond their already scheduled breaks, that they coordinate how the employee will make up that time. So for example, if an employee had to miss a duty time or class time, they will work out with the administrator how they will be making up that time in order to be able to fit the employee's schedule and for breastfeeding.
And you also said it was paid leave that they would be using?
No, I can reread that section again, and we can also certainly, if you have a specific issue, we can certainly set up an appointment to discuss further. But it says the employee shall be allowed to breastfeed or express milk during hours using their normal breaks. So that would be the breaks already scheduled in that employee's day. For time that may be needed beyond those usual break times, employees may use their personal leave or may make up the time as negotiated with their supervisors, which means you would actually take time away from, let's say, personal leave, personal days, or you would be making up that time in a different way as you coordinate with a supervisor.
Okay, so just one more time, my concerns then would be that this is not something that would be fair across all the buildings. Because you have elementary teachers who have one prep, middle school prep two, and we're just trying to feed our babies. It's very upsetting to me. I already don't have any time. I already have to take unpaid days for my baby when she's sick or when I'm sick. And now to tell me that if I need an additional break, it has to come out of my pocket. There's no guarantee that a supervisor is going to allow you to make up that time paid. So that would mean that it would come out of my pocket and other breastfeeding mothers. And again, we don't all have equal breaks. We don't have any say in our schedule. My break personally this year, because this affects me this year, my break personally this year works out as well as it can. But there are other people who have their breaks straight through. They have 2 preps back to back. How is that helpful if you need to pump on your child's schedule when they're eating when you're at work? It doesn't fit. And I understand that by law, you are not obligated to pay. But by law, you are obligated to give the time requested. And that's a wholly different issue within my own building. But I just want to let you know, please consider that. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Gonda. Is there anyone else from the public wishing to speak at this time on any agenda items? On first call, second call, third call. This time we're going to close this, close this public portion and move on to the consent resolution. Yeah, okay. There's going to be a little bit of a change up because we are going to read one of the items under one of the committees, and that would be finance, and that would be item 8.1, and that is the budget for submission to Executive County Superintendent. Ms. Lell, if you please.
Thank you. I just want to make sure that I provide a brief overview of the committee, what we did, in order so that we're all in understanding of the process that we adhere to. So, Superintendent Zurcher, her administrators, via feedback of the staff, they create lists in terms of tentative items for a budget process. Everything gets reviewed. She works with Mr. Kukuska in detail. The information is then shared with the Finance Committee, which is myself, Mr. Bazak, and Ms. Bush. And pseudo facto this year, we gained Mr. Vanek at our meeting, which was wonderful. And we were able to have ample time to review all of the information provided. We had our questions answered. If we needed more questions, they were further answered. So by the time we met, we were able to have a greater vision of the goal of the district related to items that went across the board, including the state aid that we received, and how the finances were allocated in a very strategic manner, because our goal is to be thorough and efficient with the finances. So having said that, the rest of the board was shared the information with the decision that we put forth as a recommendation only. They can also express their opinions. And this evening, I'm going to read through the majority of the information that we need as disclosure so that everybody's aware. It is tentative. It does get submitted. If modifications and adjustments need to be made, it goes through the office, and then we take it from there. So is that roughly a good summary? Everybody comfortable with that? Okay. So now I'm going to go ahead and read 8.1, which is addition approved tentative 2022-23 budget for submission to Executive County Superintendent. Be it resolved that the Finance Committee, upon recommendation of the Superintendent, recommends that the tentative 2022-23 budget be approved for submission to the Executive County Superintendent as follows. Approve a base budget. General Fund budget $44,212,354. Local taxes $17,493,254. Special revenue fund under budget $1,601,253. Pre-K expansion grant $1,659,180. Debt service fund $1,315,280. with local taxes of $1,302,972. The totals for budget, $47,128,887. Local taxes, $18,796,226. Whereas the supporting documentation of this budget also contains an itemization of certain expenditures required under administrative regulations. Whereas capital projects will be funded via a withdrawal from the capital reserve account in the amount of $323,700 for the following projects: sidewalk and lane widening, total project and professional services cost $158,700. outdoor classroom spaces, total project and professional services, $165,000. Whereas maintenance project will be funded via withdrawal from the maintenance reserve account in the amount of $180,000 for the following project. High school outside steps reconstruction, total project and engineering costs $180,000. Whereas the South River Board of Education requests to utilize spending authority enrollment adjustment in the amount of $141,120 and to utilize 21-22 banked cap in the amount of $192,467 to address staff, security, and special education population. Whereas the South River School District Policy Number 9250 and NJAC 6A:23B-1.2b provides that the Board of Education shall establish in the annual school budget a maximum expenditure amount that may be allotted for such travel and expense reimbursement for the 22-23 school year. Whereas the South River Board of Education hereby establishes the school district travel maximum rate of for the 22-23 school year at the sum of $87,778, and the 21-22 maximum amount is $115,403, and $33,849 has been spent this year thus far. Whereas the South River Board of Education established an annual maximum school district travel expense for the 22-23 school year funded by federal funds at the sum of $24,000, and the 21-22 maximum amount is $24,000, and $23,256 has been spent this year thus far. Now be it resolved that the school business administrator shall track and record these costs to ensure that the maximum amount is not exceeded, and I so move.
Thank you. Motion by Ms. Lowe,
Second by Nielsen.
second by Mr. Nielsen. Are there any questions on this resolution? Mr. Kokoska, would you please call the roll?
Mr. Bezak?
Yes.
Mr. Budson?
Yes.
Mrs. Bush?
Yes.
Mrs. Lowe?
Yes.
Mr. Nielsen?
Yes.
Mrs. Sadowski?
Yes.
Ms. Shine Yao?
Yes.
Mr. Vanek?
Yes. Thank you. Motion carries. Now we will move on to the consent resolution. Are you ready, Mr. Kokoska? Okay.
The South River Board of Education, by means of a consent resolution, adopt various resolutions of a routine and non-controversial nature at one time. Whereas a below list of resolutions are hereby adopted by said Board of Education in whole, as if the same were individually acted upon under Finance 8.2 through 8.27, Instruction 9.1 through 9.3, Policy and Legislation 11.1 through 11.3, Human Resources 12.1 through 12.24, Safety and Risk 13.1 and 13.2.
Thank you. Can we have a motion on the consent resolution?
Nielsen.
Motion by Mr. Nielsen, second by Ms. Bush. Would you please call the roll?
Mr. Bezak?
Yes.
Mr. Budson?
Yes.
Mrs. Bush?
Yes.
Mrs. Lowe?
Yes.
Mr. Nielsen?
Yes.
Mrs. Sadowski?
Yes.
Ms. Shine Yao?
Yes.
Mr. Vanek?
Yes, thank you. Motion carries. We're going to move on to our committee reports at this time. And our first committee report is our athletics and extracurricular. Mr. Budson, please.
There's nothing on the agenda for this month.
Okay, thank you. Buildings and grounds, Mr. Nielsen.
Thank you, Madam President. There's nothing on the agenda but Mr. Balage's monthly report. As you can see, there's various, up-to-date things that he does. And he writes, as we enter the month of March and inch closer to spring, the focus of the maintenance team begins to change to the outside. Ball fields are being raked, dugouts painted, and bleachers repaired for the upcoming seasons. Playground fences were repaired and outside lighting at the primary school added. There was still plenty for our team to do inside our buildings. Plumbing fixtures in the high school were replaced along with the repair of a clogged main drain and new univent blower motors. At both the elementary, middle school, and high school, the dish machines needed some repairs along with heating cabinet and even the needed new controls. Best of luck to the South River Spring teams for a successful season, and as always, go Rams. And that's all I have for tonight, Madam President.
Thank you very much. Under our Finance Committee, Ms. Lowe.
I would like to reiterate 8.2 and then move on to the new items. 8.2 was read on Monday as accept the 21-22 annual comprehensive accounting report and audit. We had Mr. Stankiewicz with us, where he proceeded to go through a summary of everything that has happened from late summer through November and the submission. And I just want to summarize that in essence, we had nothing that moved forward from last year. Actually, we haven't had anything that was recommended in roughly 20 years, I think. And the same thing happened this year. So he goes through 9 various parts, and they do it as a random sample, which as a math person, I enjoy the talk of the randomization of the sampling. And it covers different things, salaries, food services, student body activities. And after working with Ken's department, who he thoroughly appreciates all the help that he receives from them, and I know the board extends our appreciation for the hard work he does with his department, they compile everything, submit it all, and then we receive a recommendation. So the audit recommendation was that there was nothing to recommend and there's nothing we have to be worried about. So that's 8.2, and that summarizes that one. So now I would like to pick up from 8.22 with, 8.22 had a small change in the requisition list, and then we pick up, I'm gonna look at my notes because I want to make sure I do this right. And then I start on 8.25. So it was 8.25, addition approved contract Jersey Elevator LLC elevator chairlift maintenance service provider for the 21-22 school year. 8.26, addition approved ESS support services LLC rates for substitute teachers and paraprofessionals in the 21-22 school year, which Superintendent Zurcher explained in her monthly report. And 8.27, addition approved contract Mobilease Modular Space Inc., modular classroom provider for the 21-22 school year, funded via the ESSER 3 ARP grant. And that is all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Instruction, Ms. Bush.
We have no new additions since Monday evening, but I just want to highlight a couple things that are taking place so that families and community know. So as far as state assessments, they are back on this year. So current juniors took the NJ GPA, or Graduation Proficiency Assessment, in the month of March. Grades 3 through 9 are preparing to take in April and May the NJSLA, which is the New Jersey Student Learning Assessments. At the high school, we are ramping up and in the process of scheduling students for courses for the 22-23 school year. We continue to do professional development at all different levels, and we had a PD day scheduled in March. And I know it was mentioned last month, I was not here, but the 22-23 school year will have a revised grading procedure that'll go into effect. The primary and elementary school will work on a trimester, and grades 6 through 12 are going to continue a 4-marking period calendar. Grades K through 3 are going to use performance-based and standards-based report cards, yet 4 through 12 are going to continue the numeric system. And that is all I have for this evening.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Our next committee report is negotiations, and the Board of Education negotiations meeting had, the Board of Education negotiations team had a meeting with the SREA this evening. Negotiations are progressing, and we have 2 more meetings scheduled, and hopefully we will get to a resolution. Mr. Parton, do you have anything to add?
Nothing that we can really discuss publicly, but as you said, progress is being made and we hope to wrap it up before the end of this quarter.
Thank you. Under policy and legislation, Ms. Bush.
Sure. There were 3 items on the agenda, and there have been no changes since Monday evening.
Thank you. Human Resources, Mr. Bezak.
Thank you, Ms. Urbanek. I have 2 additions since Monday evening. Item 12.23, addition, discuss, approve psychiatric fitness for duty assessment, employee number 4749. And item 12.24, addition, discuss, approve David Hoffman, high school leave replacement math teacher, 2021-2022 school year.
Thank you. Safety and Risk Management, Ms. Sadowski.
Thank you, Mrs. Urbanek. There's no additional items since Monday night's meeting. Thank you.
Okay. And under School Community Relations, Ms. Young Yao.
Thank you. I am happy to announce the Middle School Students of the Month for February. Grade 6, ELA, Tatiana Figueros. Math, Sidra Hussein and Dylan Mejia. Science, Jamie Gamma Social Studies, Vinicius Cassiano, ESL, Matthias Pascual, PE, Kathleen Rodriguez, Cycle, Alyssa Palenka, and grade 7, ELA, Jewel Rouse, Math, Travis Maloney and Anna Antonini, Science, Andrew Gill, Social Studies, Kenneth Blue, PE, Jason Hill, Cycle, Christiana Ferreira, 8th grade, ELA, Malachi Newson, Math, Emmanuel Garcia, Science, Anastasia Markov, Social Studies, Tomas Mendez, PE, Amer Schnink, Cycle, Ariana Safaro, and one more for Math, Alan Zarate. That's it, thank you.
Thank you. Our school board borough council liaison, Mr. Nielsen.
Nothing new for tonight, but Mr. Olivera is in the audience if you'd like to address us quickly. Do you have anything to say, sir?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jason Olivera. I'm the council liaison. Just want to thank you guys for having me. Now that our meetings are concluding, we'll probably see you around well.
Welcome, sir.
Good to
And that'll
know.
be it for tonight, Madam President.
Thank you, Mr. Nielsen. PTA liaison, Ms. Sadowski.
Thank you. Read Across America month is wrapping up for March. The primary school held dress up spirit weeks and organized a reading contest. The elementary school had dress up themed Fridays throughout the month. There's a couple upcoming events. The primary school is having their Blossom Ball and Fun Day. Elementary school has their spring dance coming up. Their Fun Day is scheduled, and everybody's getting ready for Teacher Appreciation in May. And there's a couple fundraisers going on. The primary school is organizing a t-shirt design contest that'll be used for their upcoming spirit wear sale. Wow, I can't talk. Elementary school, they're selling discount cards and spirit wear, and that's all I have for tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. South River Public Library liaison, Mr. Goodson.
The library will be open on Mondays from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. And at the end of May, they will close the Sunday hours. They found out it was the amount of people using the library on Sunday didn't warrant paying the staff. So they'll move the hours during the week. In April, the high school chess club will be offering instruction to how to play chess at the library. On May 26th, you're having a Maker's Day or Crafts Day at the library. You can sign up on their website. The summer reading program theme is Oceans of Possibility. And in April, the library will be getting a new roof put on with help of the borough. And he also got the grant to help fix some of the HVD or whatever the air conditioning problems. So that's all I have.
Thank you. And our South River Foundation for Educational Excellence liaison, Ms. Lowe.
Thank you. So I was able to attend the meeting on March 15th, and we have 2 people in the audience currently in front of us. Danielle Oswald is the president. Meredith Larson became vice president. So we have Pamela Broom as treasurer, Cheryl Santiago as recording secretary, and Shortrice Martin as corresponding secretary. From the meeting, I want to be able to share that they are still in need of student advisor and some student ambassadors. They have a senior scholarship deadline of May 13th, so if there are seniors out there that are interested in applying. They were interested in finding out if there are any STEM initiatives at any of our schools for potential grant sponsorship. And they really truly just need some community and business participation to help them with their fundraising efforts so that they can recuperate from the inability to do the dance like they have in the past and other events due to the pandemic. And that is all I have.
Thank you very much. Our student board representative, Ms. Passion.
Thank you. I have nothing to report this evening.
Okay, thank you. Our attorney's report, Mr. Parton.
Nothing for public, but we do have an executive session.
Yes, thank you. Is there any old or new business to come before the board at this time by any of the members?
I just want to say to Ms. Gardner, who's still here in the audience, to please reach out to my office tomorrow so we can talk a little bit more about your concern.
Okay, thank you. And under payment of bills, Ms. Lell.
Thank you. The Finance Committee recommends that all bills presented having been certified by the School Business Administrator Board Secretary be paid as listed, and I so move.
We have a motion by Ms. Lell,
Second.
second by Mr. Nielsen. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Pay the bills, Ken. Thank you. At this time, there is another public session. If there is anyone in the audience that wishes to address the board on not only agenda items or any concern or comment that they have for the board, this is the time to do so. Please approach the mic, state your name and address, and please keep your comments to a 10-minute time limit.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Danielle Oswald with the Foundation for Educational Excellence. I'm one of the founding members of that organization, and I'm thrilled that we almost have a full board, pending a student advisor and student ambassadors, but at least for us to run the organization itself, we do have the board complete, so that I'm very happy and thank you, Meredith, for stepping up to take on the vice president role. I really appreciate it, as well as Cheryl Santiago, who's our reporting secretary. I want to thank the Board of Ed and the superintendent for sharing the latest public relations thing that we pushed out. We were just trying to get our bearings as to how we're going to move forward with all of our fundraising efforts, since we couldn't do the dinner dance for the last 2 years. And I also want to thank the borough of South River, because our poster is also on their website as well. So we're starting to get out there more and more. Some ideas that we have for fundraisers would be for local businesses to advertise on our website, so they can pick whatever website page they want to be displayed on, and then we would put their logo with a link to their website for their information. So that's one way that we can do that. I've submitted a grant for a micro grant for $1,000, and I'm waiting to hear back from that. I should hear tomorrow, I'm hoping. And I just wanted to say thank you, and I appreciate any support you can give us by just sharing the message that SRG is here. We're providing scholarships for our seniors and many grants to our teachers.
Thank you,
Welcome
Ms.
back.
Oswald. Yeah. Yes, for sure. Glad to see that it did survive. And best wishes on the grant. I hope you get favorable news. Okay. Is there anyone else in the public who would like to address the board? On first call, second call, third call. We're going to close this public portion, and at this time, the board is going to go into executive session. So be it resolved that pursuant to Sections 7 and 8 of the Open Public Meetings Act, the following subjects be discussed at a session of the Board of Education closed to the public, and those subjects are facilities. It is presently anticipated that the items to be discussed in closed session can be disclosed to the public when resolved. Could we have a motion?
Nielsen.
Motion by Mr. Nielsen, second by Ms. Bush. Would you please call the roll?
Mr. Pazak?
Yes.
Mr. Budson?
Yes.
Mrs. Bush?
Yes.
Mrs. Lell?
Yes.
Mr. Nielsen?
Yes.
Ms. Sadowski?
Yes.
Ms. Young?
Yes.
Mr. Vanek?
Yes. Thank you.